What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to my YouTube channel. I got a weird video for you guys today. So I found a bin. It's pretty sad. I found a bin of old listings from eBay from 2011. And a lot of it is from when I was a teenager. So I was 48 years old. A lot of the stuff is from when I worked at an electronics store back in my early 20s. I started there when I was actually age 19, believe it or not. And I'm just going to show you some of this stuff. I'm going to list it on eBay, but it's kind of like some time capsule stuff for you electronics guys. Check this out. Wilson Home Office Accessory Kit. I remember using this in the early 2000s when I had a crappy cell signal in a house that we were living in Wheaton, Illinois. And I bought this, probably paid 50, 60 bucks for it. And what it is, it's an actual antenna booster. So you put your cell phone in it, you put a little antenna up there, and then you plug it in, and it's supposed to boost the signal. So gonna be selling this one. I think these still go for about 50 bucks, but man, I don't even know if this works on like the newer technology, because it might be for, like the older type of cell phone. So I think something like this is still of value to someone that either has like a cabin, or they go hunting, or they're in a very remote area where the cell signal absolutely sucks, and this will be something that they want to purchase to use. Now, here in Illinois where I live, the cell signal is great. I've never complained about it. You know, everything's digital now, but just figured I'd show you guys that. So that's a Wilson Electronics Home Office Accessory Kit. I'm going to show this other time capsule here. So let's put this off the side. We'll get that listed. I just listed this. So do you guys remember these? Man, these were the coolest things ever invented. This is an original Case Logic. I've got it listed for $12.95 on eBay. I don't know if I ever used it. Like the Velcro still, like, especially this strap here, like that looks factory. I don't think I would have put it back, you know, as nice as that. But this is different, man. Like, it's very soft felt. The newer ones now are all like cheap and thin, if anyone ever uses this. But this is before, so like something like this was invented before DVDs even came out. So it was very cool to put this in your sun visor in your vehicle. I had it in my 94 Vet when I was in my early 20s, and you could store up to 12 CDs. So you actually put CDs inside of these, and you can tell this is old from the 90s because the Case Logic is a company that still exists, but they definitely don't have this looking maker's mark, I guess. So I got that listed for $12.95. If anyone wants an old Case Logic from 1992, I think was when I bought it. Here's some other time capsule stuff. I know I did videos in the past on my channel about monster cable, but I was like, man, I couldn't believe I still had this. So this is from 1994, 1995. Monster cable was on every single shelf at Circuit Cities, Best Buys, and the electronics store I worked at was United Audio. And this is still sealed. Now it's an F-pin connector, so that's just your, you know, your regular TV connector. Look at this mono television. And then they have a stereo television. You could tell this is old, right? Like, just look at, you know, now we just use HDMI. But look at this. This was $21.95 back in the day. And I remember even with my employee discount, which was these, I think these were marked up like 50%. I still probably paid well over 10, 12 bucks with tax on this one. So I've got two of these sealed, selling them cheap, $5.95. And the shipping's probably going to be like $5, $6. So someone can get this brand new sealed monster cable. If you want to upgrade your coax RG6 F-pin connector from your television to your cable box, if you guys actually still have a cable box. Here's some other stuff that is sealed. So let me get a blade here to open this up. Now, I did buy a lot of, I bought some car audio stuff back when I was working at the shop because I sold car audio back then. And yeah, this is not cool. I don't do this anymore, but I guess back then we didn't want to invest in boxes. So we put these USPS small flat rate box. But anyways, this is a Monster Cable XLN for car audio. It's probably not brand new because I did have a car audio system. Actually, had a couple of them in both vehicles, but let's see what this bad boy looks like. Oh yeah, look at that. That's some vintage Monster Cable. So this was used to hook up behind your stereo system, and then you'd run these long cables. So this is 16 feet, or I think my brother put 2 meters, but that's obviously what is that, like 5 meters, maybe a little longer. And it's a 16-foot vintage from the late 90s, probably early 2000s, and this can still be used today. So these are still fairly expensive. I want to say the nicer cables, even like at a Pep Boys or your local Best Buy or whatever, they're probably going to charge upwards of $50-$60 for something like this nowadays. So probably be able to sell this for $20 or under, and someone will be very happy. So we'll get that listed. Crazy stuff, right? But what's nuts is like this stuff's from 2011, and it's been sitting here next to me in my finished basement home office, I guess. Check this out. So these are the M500. All right, so Monster Cable made M series cables, and basically back in the day when people were buying very expensive TVs, you know, upwards of $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, not the cheap plasmas, you were buying this cable because you wanted to make sure you got the best signal video. This doesn't have audio, it's just for a video signal, to go from your older VHS or probably your VHS. And this cable, I remember, retailed all day long for, see, the 6-foot one. This probably was a $60 cable back then. So someone's going to enjoy this. I'll probably sell this for someone that has some vintage home theater and they want to upgrade their video cable. So that probably is something I can get about $20 out of. All right, so here again, this is sealed from 2011. This is old stock. I don't know what happened. Maybe I had an eBay store and then I changed it to my current one. So those of you guys that like buy stuff from me, I always list my eBay store in there. And I guess too, if you're a reseller and you found this video, like this is important stuff. Wow, look at this old vintage 2011 postal box. Yeah, they don't make these anymore. All right, well that's bad. Again, don't do this. So like don't use USPS box supplies and then wrap them in poly mailers. That's very, very bad, very illegal. So not sure why I decided to do that back then. Maybe it was my brother. I think my brother he's 10 years younger than me, and we were trying to get him a car, and he was just listing all the stuff that I had lying around. All right, let's see what this is. Wow, that's pretty intense. Woo! Nice one here. All right, that's a big old cable. And yeah, this is, what is this? This is a composite. So this is when you had your red, green, and blue connections, and then we've got an audio connection. So this would have been used to connect a HD DVD player or DivX player or a Blu-ray, and your TV at the time did not have HDMI. It just had the red, green, blue for the video, and then you had just audio. It wasn't even digital audio. So yeah, this is definitely vintage. Not sure what I can get for this, but what do we have this listed for? 30 bucks. 12-foot component and audio video cable. I think I had this listed for 30 bucks back then. So that's a pretty rare cable. They don't make that anymore. Let's see what else we got here. I got a video game. U.S. Navy Fighters PC. This was listed February 26, 2012. So that's nice. Not sure if there's still a market for old vintage PC games, since most guys can just download them, but I know a lot of people that have old school setups for computers. They're always looking for computer games to run on their system. And let's see what this thing looks like. All right, well, here we go. EA Sports, or no, I'm sorry, not EA Sports, Electronic Arts, U.S. Navy Fighters, Air Combat Series, Electronic Arts for everyone. This is from, the heck is that? Let me zoom in so you guys can see it. 1997, 1998, 1990, 2000, 2001. So obviously it was a popular game if they kept coming out with it every year. So that's interesting. And let's see the condition of the disc. Probably never ever ran this, and this disc has never ever been put inside of a PC, because probably at the time my PC couldn't handle it. But that's really cool. So that's a time capsule. It's probably a not very expensive game, probably like $5, but maybe I can get more since it's in such nice condition. And here's something for you guys that remember this connection. What is that called? You guys remember? That's S-Video. So SVHS. That was state of the art. Definitely had an improved signal. Got rid of a lot of video noise, and the special SVHS players were a lot more expensive. A lot of them started around $500. I remember when Panasonic first came out with one that was $300. Like, that was revolutionary. But normally, one of our top line, I still remember the model number. Isn't that sad? It's a Mitsubishi HSU 790, and it was an SVHS player that retailed for $1,000. And this was one of the cables I would recommend to my customers to definitely use. And you either had an AV receiver. The upgraded ones had SVHS because your AV receiver would also handle the video switching. So your receiver kind of became the switchboard for carrying audio and video through it. And this cable alone, easily back then, was probably an $80 cable. So not sure if someone will still want a vintage 6-foot SVHS, but probably is a $20 bill all day long. And ooh, we got something real special in this one. So this was top of the line, meaning and again, this is for Monster Cable, but this one was really expensive. This was a $120 cable back when I sold electronics in the early 2000s. And again, don't do this with flat rate boxes, but let's see what this one looks like. And what made this cable very expensive is they actually use silver. So if you notice, it looks very similar to the M500 series, but this was the M1000 series. And what they did, the main difference besides the thickness of the cable, is that inside they didn't use regular solder. They actually used silver solder for the connection, to connect the wires. So look how thick that cable is inside. And guys, it's just like a regular copper coax cable. So it's not like the interior cable. Oh, maybe it is silver. I think that's why these were so expensive. So instead of using copper as an actual, to conduct electricity or electrical signal from one component to the other, the entire core of this is silver and the solder is silver. So that's why these cables were twice as expensive than an M500. So this is an M1000 cable. I doubt anyone has sold this on eBay. I got to check it out. But look at that, $119 this bad boy was. So again, it was double the price and silver core. So that entire cable inside for the video signal, including the solder, is silver. There's no copper in this whatsoever. That's crazy. So maybe that's still worth $50. Maybe nobody cares. I don't know, but some of the guys that are bringing back, you know, record players came back many, many years ago. Maybe old SVHS players are going to make a comeback. Probably not, because SVHS was really, you couldn't buy any movies on it, but people would spend a lot of money on video cameras, especially the ones that had a little higher signal. And you could only see that difference when you purchased SVHS. So what was it, Super Video or whatever it's called? And that was one of the top line cables. So again, if you were spending $1,000 on a VCR, you had a $3,000-$4,000 tube TV, and you wanted the best signal, you weren't going to put a cheap old SVHS cable. You were going to spend $120 to make sure you maximize the performance out of your VHS or DVD to your TV at the time. And then all nowadays everything's like HDMI and it's all zeros and ones, and kind of doesn't matter what kind of quality cable you get, because as long as it gets zeros and ones from point A to B, it's all the same. So do not spend extra money on thicker or better, gold connectors on HDMI. Guys, it doesn't matter. It's zeros and ones. It's just like a USB-C cable. Why do you spend more on a more expensive one? Well, it's the one that you put in and out of your phone every day. You want the cable to last. But for HDMI, do not spend extra money on that. Okay, and then what is this? Well, this has nothing to do with electronics. So I got another box here. It says vintage Nippon gold trim Japanese armoire flower design, hand painted nice. Well, what does that mean? This is even worth opening. Well, I guess the nice thing is I already have a box for it. And that's how I used to list. So I would not just list it, but I'd also package it and label it. So that way, if someone bought it from me, I wouldn't have to then even pack the item. This is when eBay, you'd list something on eBay and it'd sell pretty quick, but obviously nobody cared about this. But this is probably some vintage glass. So let's open this bad boy up, and then I promise, guys, I'll be done. But I just figured I'd show. Ooh, man, we got foam packaging and everything. This is cool. All right, well, let's take this bad boy out. Ooh, this is pretty nice. All right, let me get this box out of here so you can see what I'm unboxing here. Trying to make too big of a mess, but yeah, it's just like a dish or a bowl. Glassware is so hard to resell. I'll have the stuff sitting at my garage sale. Nobody even cares about it. It's like the last thing that gets picked up at estate sales. So, but yeah, this is pretty nice. So this is hand-painted Nippon. So Nippon is a Japanese pottery maker. And you can tell all the gold trim, the flowers here have been painted. So this is probably something you wouldn't use to store your food in unless you wanted to make a really fancy table setting. This is probably something that is sitting in somebody's china cabinet that probably visited Japan, and they took this home as a collectible. But probably not a lot of these. Well, it's in English, so I'm assuming they sold it here. But probably from the 50s or 60s, beautiful hand-painted flowers. So again, I'll probably list this too, because maybe it's something rare. Maybe it's worth at least $20 to somebody. At this point, I really don't care. But this is probably something I wouldn't put out at a garage sale. I do put out glassware during my garage sales, and I think I've sold a few coffee cups because they were Halloween themed, and it was right before Halloween. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys watching my video. Hopefully you enjoy this little time capsule unboxing. Let me know in the comments, did you buy Monster Cable back in the day? Did you ever buy a booster for your cell phone? Could you use one in a cabin or a trailer or wherever you're traveling in the middle of nowhere? Do you remember composite cable? Did you even know that people would actually spend $120 on just a video cable that was made out of silver? maybe I can bring this to my local coin shop and be like, come on, man. Give me the silver value for this. Weigh it. Take the plastic out. Give me the melt value. Like, what's the melt value on this now that silver is like, what, 33, 34 bucks an ounce? You know, is this a $35 stackable monster cable? Anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. As always, have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.